are incredibly tough and confident. If you try to pick up a girl at a bar in Tel Aviv, just remember, she probably knows more about combat tactics than you do. If you visit Israel for the first time, you will have a culture shock within the first 5 minutes. You will walk into a Starbucks or a McDonald's, and you will see a 19-year-old kid eating a burger with a massive automatic rifle slung over his shoulder. And nobody even looks at him. In America, if you see a rifle in a mall, you call the police. In Israel, it just means a soldier is on their lunch break. Soldiers are required to keep their weapons with them at all times, even when they are off duty or on weekend leave. If they leave their gun unattended and it gets stolen, they go to military prison. So seeing a gun at the beach, at the movies, or on a bus is totally normal. It's not about showing off, it's about responsibility. But recently, things have changed even more. After the massive attacks on October 7th, 2023, the view on civilian guns shifted overnight. Before, it was actually quite hard for a normal citizen to get a gun license. Now, the government is handing them out by the thousands. They distributed over 10,000 assault rifles to civilian security teams in just a few weeks. The mentality has shifted from the army will protect us to we need to protect ourselves. Gun ranges are packed. Regular dads and moms are learning how to shoot. It is becoming one of the most heavily armed civilian populations in the world, driven by a deep sense of survival. Number 12 is fiction. The Mossad is very, very real. For a country as small as New Jersey, Israel has the most feared and legendary intelligence agency on the planet. Their motto used to be, where there is no guidance, a nation falls. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Basically, they know everything. The Mossad is famous for operations that sound like movie scripts. The most famous one happened in 1960. They tracked down Adolf Eichmann, one of the chief architects of the Holocaust, who was hiding in Argentina. Agents kidnapped him right off the street, smuggled him onto a plane disguised as a drunk flight crew member, and brought him to Israel to stand trial. It sent a message to the world. We will find you, no matter where you hide. More recently, the world was shocked by operations involving high-tech sabotage, like exploding pagers or computer viruses that destroyed nuclear centrifuges in enemy countries without firing a single shot. It is estimated that the Mossad employs thousands of people, but you will never know who they are. They could be the businessman sitting next to you on a flight, or the tourist taking photos in a European capital. This reputation is a huge part of Israel's defense. The fear of the Mossad is sometimes just as powerful as the age.
You probably use Israeli technology every single day, and you don't even know it. Israel is often called the startup nation. It has the highest number of startups per capita in the world. Why? Because they have a cultural concept called chutzpah. There is no direct translation, but it means a mix of audacity, guts, and a little bit of arrogance. It means not being afraid to fail or challenge authority. This attitude has led to insane inventions. Do you use a USB flash drive to save files? That was invented here. Do you use Waze to navigate through traffic? That's an Israeli app, sold to Google for $1 billion. Do you like sweet cherry tomatoes in your salad? Yep, Israeli scientists engineered those to grow in the desert. They even invented a tiny camera inside a pill that you swallow so doctors can see inside your stomach without surgery. It is a miracle that a country with no natural resources, no coal, barely any water, and surrounded by enemies became a tech superpower. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. When you are surrounded by desert and war, you have to be smart to survive. Today, giant companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Intel all have massive research centers in Israel because they know that is where the next big idea. Here is a riddle for you. How can a country be a superpower in the diamond industry if it doesn't have a single diamond mine? Israel has 0 natural diamonds in the ground. It doesn't have a single diamond mine. Israel has 0 natural diamonds in the ground. None. Yet, it is one of the world's largest centers for diamond trading and polishing. If you own a diamond ring, there is a very high chance it passed through Tel Aviv before it got to your finger. Diamonds are a massive chunk of Israel's economy, accounting for billions of dollars in exports every year. It all happens in a specific district called the Diamond Exchange in Ramat Gan. This place is basically a fortress. It is a complex of 4 skyscrapers connected by bridges, and it is arguably one of the most secure places on Earth, maybe even safer than the Pentagon. Why? Because billions of dollars in loose gems are moving through these hallways every day. The history here is fascinating. For centuries, Jewish people in Europe were often banned from owning land or joining guilds. So they turned to diamond trading because diamonds were small, valuable, and easy to hide if you had to run away from persecution. They became experts at cutting and polishing. When the State of Israel was founded, it brought those skills with it. The culture inside the exchange is unique. Deals worth millions are sealed with a simple handshake and the Hebrew phrase, Mazel u'bracha, luck and blessing. In a world of complex contracts and lawyers, this industry still runs on old school honor and trust. It proves that you don't need natural resources to be rich. You just need... If you look at a map, Israel is mostly desert. The southern half of the country, the Negev, looks like the surface of Mars. By all logic, nothing should grow here. But if you drive through it today, you will see endless green fields of peppers, melons, and vineyards. How? Because Israel reinvented farming. Back in the 1960s, a Polish-Israeli engineer named Simcha Blas noticed a tree growing in the desert next to a leaky pipe. That tree was huge, while the others were dead. He realized that slow, steady drops of water were better than flooding the field. This led to the invention of drip irrigation. Instead of spraying water everywhere and letting it evaporate in the sun, they use plastic tubes to deliver water directly to the plant's roots, drop by drop. It saves huge amounts of water and makes crops grow like crazy. But wait, where do they get the water? It's a desert. This is the second miracle. Israel is the world champion of water recycling. They treat and reuse nearly 90% of their wastewater for agriculture. To put that in perspective, the second best country is Spain, which recycles about 20%. The US recycles maybe 1%. They also have massive desalination plants that turn salty Mediterranean seawater into drinkable tap water. So when you eat an orange or a melon exported from Israel, you are basically eating a miracle of science. They didn't just conquer the desert. They turned it, nobody owns anything. Everyone earns the same amount of money, which is zero, and everyone eats dinner together every night. It sounds like a failed communist experiment, right? But in Israel, it worked for decades. This is the kibbutz. These are unique collective communities that helped build the nation. The philosophy was simple: from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Whether you were the factory manager or the guy washing dishes, you didn't get a salary. The kibbutz gave you a house, food, clothes, and education for your kids. Everything was shared. In the old days, children didn't even sleep in their parents' houses. They slept in children's houses with all the other kids to learn independence. While many kibbutzim, plural, have become privatized today and now pay salaries, the spirit is still there. They are tight-knit communities. And don't let the farming vibe fool you. These places produce some of the toughest people in the country. Historically, a huge percentage of Israel's elite pilots, commandos, and politicians came from the kibbutz movement. Why? Because growing up there taught them extreme teamwork and responsibility. On October 7th, many of these border communities were the ones attacked, and the world saw how fiercely the civilian security teams fought to protect their neighbors. It is a social experiment that you won't find anywhere else in the world, a mix of utopian idealism and gritty survivalism. Do you eat a plague for lunch? We talked about hummus and falafel, which are delicious, but if you want to try the real exotic food of Israel, you have to try locusts. Yes, the grasshoppers from the Bible. Here is a fun fact about kosher laws. According to Jewish dietary rules, most insects are strictly forbidden. You can't eat bugs. But there is one exception: certain types of locusts. This tradition comes from Jews who lived in Yemen and North Africa, where locust swarms were common. Instead of letting the bugs destroy their crops and starve them, they ate the bugs. It turns out they are a superfood. They are packed with protein, about 70% protein, and have almost no fat. In Israel, during locust swarms, which still happen occasionally, chefs go crazy. You will see high-end restaurants serving pan-fried locusts with garlic and chili, or even chocolate-covered locusts for dessert. People say they taste like crunchy shrimp or sunflower seeds. There is even a company in Israel called Hargal Food Tech that is farming them on an industrial scale to create protein powder for athletes. So, while the rest of the world screams when they see a swarm of bugs, Israelis grab a frying pan. It's the ultimate way to turn a problem into a snack. Welcome to the lowest point on planet Earth. The Dead Sea sits about 430 meters, 1,400 feet below sea level. You have seen the photos of people reading newspapers while floating in the water. That isn't a camera trick. The water is nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean. It is so thick and oily that you literally cannot sink. It pushes you up like a cork. It is a surreal experience. You feel weightless. People come from all over the world to cover themselves in the black mud, which is full of minerals and supposedly cures skin diseases. But be careful. If you have a tiny cut on your finger, or if you splash this water in your eyes, you will scream. It burns like fire. But there is a sad reality behind the beauty. The Dead Sea is dying. It is shrinking at a terrifying rate, about 1 meter, 3 feet, every year. Because neighboring countries are diverting the water from the Jordan River, which feeds the sea, the water level is dropping. This has created thousands of dangerous sinkholes along the shore. Entire resorts and beaches that used to be on the water are now abandoned, sitting hundreds of meters away from the shoreline. There are huge plans to save it, like building a canal from the Red Sea, but for now, it is a race against time. If you want to float in this natural wonder, you should probably book your ticket sooner rather than later. If you visit Israel, you will notice something within the first 5 minutes. The country is overrun by cats. They are everywhere, sleeping on parked motorcycles, sitting on trash cans, hanging out under cafe tables, and prowling through the ancient ruins of Jerusalem. There are an estimated 2 million street cats in Israel. Considering the human population is only about 9 million, that is a crazy ratio. Why? It dates back to the British Mandate in the 1930s. The British brought cats over to hunt rats, but they didn't spay or neuter them. The British left, but the cats stayed and multiplied. Locals have a love-hate relationship with them. Some people feed them religiously. Others call them trash tigers, but they are undeniably the true owners of the streets. But if Jerusalem is the city of cats, Tel Aviv is the city of dogs. Tel Aviv has one of the highest dog-to-human ratios in the world. About 1 in every 14 residents owns a dog, and these dogs live better lives than most humans. Tel Aviv is aggressively dog-friendly. You can take your dog almost anywhere, into shopping malls, high-end restaurants, and even onto buses and trains. The city has over 70 dog parks and 4 dedicated dog beaches where pups can run off-leash in the Mediterranean. In 2016, they even held a Dog Day festival, complete with dog sushi and massages. It shows a softer side of Israeli society.
In a country that is tough, loud, and stressed by politics, animals provide the unconditional love that everyone desperately needs.
In New York, the city never sleeps. In Israel, the country literally shuts down once a week. This is Shabbat. From Friday sunset to Saturday night, public transportation stops. Malls close. The frantic energy of the week vanishes into silence. For tourists, this can be confusing. Why is there no bus? Why is the elevator stopping at every floor? Ah, the Shabbat elevator. Religious Jews cannot create sparks or do work on Shabbat, which includes pressing electrical buttons. So, buildings have elevators programmed to stop automatically at every single floor, so you don't have to touch anything. It is slow, but it is holy. But the real surreal experience happens once a year on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. This is the holiest day in Judaism. For 25 hours, the entire country goes into a complete standstill. The airport closes. No flights take off or land. There are no TV broadcasts. And, most amazingly, there are no cars. Even secular people who aren't religious respect the tradition and don't drive. Massive multi-lane highways of Tel Aviv become empty rivers of asphalt. Suddenly, thousands of children on bicycles, skateboards, and scooters take over the freeways. You can walk in the middle of the main highway and hear nothing but the wind and birds. It is eerie, apocalyptic, and incredibly beautiful all at the same time. It is the one day a year when a modern, high-tech nation hits the Jerusalem. There's a wall that acts like a direct phone line to God. The Western Wall, Kotel, is the holiest place where Jews can pray. But you don't just speak your prayers here, you write them down. If you look closely at the cracks between the massive ancient stones, you will see they are stuffed with millions of tiny, folded pieces of paper. These are notes written by visitors, prayers, wishes, and secrets intended for the eyes of God only. Presidents, popes, and celebrities all leave notes here. It is a beautiful tradition, but it creates a logistical problem. The wall eventually gets full. So, what happens to the notes? Do they throw them in the trash? Absolutely not. That would be sacrilege. Twice a year, before Passover and the Jewish New Year, a team of rabbis performs a cleaning operation. They use wooden sticks because metal is associated with war and shouldn't touch the holy stones, to carefully pry out the notes. They never read them. They treat them with absolute respect. The papers are collected in bags and then taken to the Mount of Olives, where they are buried in a sacred cemetery along with damaged Torah scrolls. It is basically God's mailbox. Even if you can't travel to Israel, you can email or text your prayer to a special service in Jerusalem, and someone will print it out and stuff it in the wall for you. It's ancient faith meeting modern customer service. In 2013, Israel became the first country in the world to pass a law banning underweight models. It is known as the Photoshop Law. The government realized that eating disorders like anorexia were killing young people who were trying to look like the skeletons they saw in magazines. So, they set a rule. If a model's body mass index, BMI, is below 18.5, they are legally banned from working in commercials or fashion shows. A doctor actually has to sign a certificate saying the model is healthy. Furthermore, if an advertiser uses Photoshop to make a model look thinner, they must print a disclaimer on the ad saying, "This image was retouched." It was a groundbreaking move that forced the global fashion industry to take a hard look in the mirror. Speaking of clothes, there is another fashion rule in Israel, but this one is military. If you look at an Israeli soldier's uniform, you might notice something about the top button of their shirt. It is almost always open. There is a somber tradition in the IDF. You only fasten the top button if you are at a funeral or a memorial service. For active duty, for daily life, and even for combat, that button stays open. It is a silent symbol that says, we are still living, we are still breathing. In a country where grief and life walk side by side, even the buttons on a shirt. This final fact makes absolutely no sense, but it is true. Israel is incredibly expensive. Tel Aviv was recently ranked as the #1 most expensive city in the world, beating New York and Singapore. A coffee costs $5. Rent is insane. A Tesla costs twice as much here as in the US because of taxes. On top of that, there is the constant stress of war, the mandatory army service, and the loud, chaotic politics. By all logic, Israelis should be miserable, but they aren't. Year after year, Israel ranks in the top 5 happiest countries in the world happiness report. How is this possible? It comes down to a concept called resilience and community. Israelis live with a mindset of yalla balagan, let's make a mess/let's party. Because they know the future is uncertain, they live fiercely in the present. They go out more, they travel more, and they see their friends constantly. Unlike in the West, where people are often lonely, in Israel, you are never alone. Family is everything. Neighbors get in your business. The connection between people is intense. When tragedy strikes, the whole country cries together. But when the music starts, the whole country dances together. It is a happiness that isn't based on comfort or money. It is based on meaning and survival. And maybe, just maybe, living on the edge makes you appreciate the view a little bit more. Now, I have a challenge for you. Forget the politics for a second. Could you handle living here? Could you handle the siren alarms, the direct attitude, and the insane prices? Or would you just come for the beach and the locust snack? Tell me yes or no in the comments below. If this deep dive into the Holy Land opened your eyes, please hit that like button and subscribe to Life Travel Documentary US. We explore the most misunderstood corners of the earth, and you don't want to miss our next adventure. Shalom, and see you in the next video.
Because I still have salt on my skin. I'm still pretty damp from snorkeling and sharing food with people who were strangers just a few hours ago. This is when the group really started to bond.
So this destination we chose to celebrate life here because this is one of the most special islands here in the Philippines out of 7,700 plus islands. This is one out of one, especially the place is called Beach or the Sand Beach. Do you know what it's called? They call this place
This is where the journey really begins. Early morning at the port in Quezon, backpacks packed, coffee barely kicking in, and that feeling you get when you know the next few days are going to be something special. Today, I'm joining a 3-day, 2-night excursion from Quezon to Anido with a company called Sea Tours, specifically with Team Kala. This isn't just a boat transfer, guys. It's a full-on island hopping, snorkeling, camping adventure.
Awesome.
All right, guys, the lunch
Dennis,
was
what are you doing?
amazing. And just when we think
for the
that the
food
day couldn't
serving.
surprise us
Oh.
anymore,
What's
we
that
were
for?
told that
Letters.
it was a waterfall.
Letters.
So we got there,
Decorating,
hopped
huh?
into the kayak,
Ah,
and
later
it
for
took
this
us
one.
to
I
shore,
see.
and we started to hike. I had no
Yeah.
idea that this excursion
Alright, guys, I went ahead and
hiking through the jungle.
put in my work
And when we got there,
got out
the
Palo
fresh
One.
water, the cold, powerful
I contributed
waterfall,
for dinner,
man, it was
and I am
exactly
done.
what we didn't know we needed after a full day in the sun. It was amazing. We had so much fun there.
Tommy
We
is
spent
taking,
about
doing a little
20
photo
minutes
shoot.
to 30
Photo
minutes
shoot.
just swimming
I'll
and
send you the
laughing.
pictures later.
This Lana doesn't look as nice.
The video. And then Dennis, me and you next. Oh yeah. Okay. Guys, next. I'm Jack. You'll roast though. You'll roast. I know you'll roast.
Alright, so this is our last
Alright guys,
destination
we are
for
approaching
day
our
one.
first destination.
And
it's that little
surprisingly,
island right
we are
there.
hiking to
I don't know
a
the name of it.
waterfall.
It was hard to pronounce,
So we didn't
but
expect
we are
that
heading there first.
on this tour.
It's a little gloomy
So
today,
it's a
but
nice little
hopefully the sun
surprise.
comes out.
So
I'm here with Dennis,
enjoying
Dennis,
this tour a
Gal,
lot.
and Tommy.
So check out this little hike we're going through. Now we're going through a little stream. This is so cool.
You wanna go
I
there?
totally recommend this
we're going there. Okay.
excursion if you ever get the chance to
You see, the goal
do
is
a
simple.
3-day, 2-night
Travel
tour
slowly,
from
explore
Peru
remote
to
islands,
Alito.
snorkel
Because
clear
what you get
waters,
is you
and
get a hike
just
to the
disconnect
waterfall.
from
Right,
everything
Dennis?
except what's right in front of us. So as we leave the port and head into the open sea,
So
it
this is
really
our
hits
crew
you
right here.
that
So
this
it's
isn't
about
a luxury
5-minute
cruise
hike,
or anything
so
like
it's not
that.
too bad.
This is
And
raw,
this is
open
so
air,
cool, look.
real adventure. And I am
We
all
are
for it.
deep in the jungle now.
Salt in the air,
So
wind in
there
my
are villagers
face,
that live
and nothing
here,
but islands
and
ahead.
we had to pay them 100 pesos per person to check out the waterfall. Basically, like a admission fee. That way they can make a living a little bit. So yeah, there's not a lot of people that live here. Very small population, but man, imagine living out here, guys. I mean, you are in nature. You're surrounded by waterfalls, and the water out there is a mix of fresh water and salt water. So, interesting fact. Okay, I gotta watch my step. Wow, check out this waterfall. How deep is it? 2 years? 15 foot? Oh! Alright, you ready? Look how blue the water is. And then here, you can climb up here, and jump down. Alright guys, we're gonna jump in. Oh, I'm gonna jump in. Of course, let's go. Wanna go together or what? Alright. Okay. I know, right? Get it so far, first day, really fun.
So after a long morning in the waters, snorkeling, island hopping, we are getting hungry. So we finally
I know, right?
elbow. Oh yeah, the sunset. Wow. Super rugged, and there are no one out here but us. Look at this, guys. It's okay. Wow. This is awesome. And as the sun goes down, we make our way to our first campsite for day 1. But by the time we arrived, it was already getting a little dark. So camera struggle, but honestly, that's a So it was hard recording around this time of the day. But honestly, that's okay. Some moments are meant to be felt, not filmed. So I probably have to show you guys the campsite tomorrow. But these are the huts. Alright, so this is home for the night. Our first day here on an island that I have never been on. Simple huts and the sound of the ocean nearby, and absolutely no distractions, just us and the crew. Wow. Now this is rugged, and then those are all the other huts. Wow. Is this rum from Philippines? Yeah, Philippines rum. So it has 40% alcohol. Wow. 4? 8? 40? 40. Do you guys want some? The night turns into shared drinks, card games, store. All right, we drinking? Can we cheers for the vlog? Hello, friends. Cheers. Hey?
Anna from Barcelona. Angela from Barcelona.
I love it. Which letter? Oh,